hit the wrong countdown there, but that's okay.
Nice open.
I hit the wrong button, but that's all right. There he is, Brian Smith, Jason Myrtetus. We were dealing with reboot nightmares tonight. Welcome to Reboot Nightmare.
It took almost 20 minutes for that computer to reboot. That was amazing.
Mouse wasn't running fast enough on the old wheel over there, Smitty?
I guess not. My God. And the funny thing was I set everything up ahead of time tonight.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the way it works sometimes.
I don't normally do that, but I did it tonight, and then the computer's not happy. So we'll reboot it real quick. 20 minutes later, here we are.
Yeah. 12 hours later. Real quick, before we get to the business, we're going to join the radio audience in about 3 minutes. 37 years ago, late last night, was the night that Pelle Lindbergh had the car accident. I had Al on Stick to Hockey Live on Wednesday, Morgani, who's going into the Hockey Hall of Fame Monday. And I managed, in asking Al about that, because he was really close with Pelle and his fiance, and he had to cover it too.
Yep.
I managed to get Al Morgani choked up. How about that?
I think that might happen a few more times here over the next few days for him.
Well, the ironic thing, Smitty, I think the thing that got him was he's going into the Hall of Fame Monday, and he was really close with Pelle. He said he still has never recovered from it, never gotten over it. And he's going in with the Sedin twins and Daniel Alfredsson, all these Swedish guys. So it's just fitting.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that, and he's going to mention it because of that as well. And he said that it changed the way early in his career that he covered athletes. He made a decision from that point forward to cover them as people, not as basically mercenaries. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because you do this for any length of time, and it sometimes you forget that they're people. It's not like they're just commodities or whatever. They have real life things going on that affect them. They're similar to you and me in that they show up for work in the morning, and they do their day or whatever, and then they go home at the end of the day. It's it's certainly different work and highly compensated work, but it's a work day, and sometimes we forget about that.
Yeah, I think the thing that we forget sometimes is we assume pro athletes, because of the compensation. I think we always look at people that are compensated or wealthy or famous or whatever, and we think that, well, their problems can't be that bad. Just look at your bank account. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. And that's a naivete of us people that don't make that kind of money.
Right.
That's a naiveness that we have, that we project money to be happiness when they make these huge, huge salaries. So I thought it was interesting. And, Al said too, he said, that I always knew like I wasn't supposed to get close, but I couldn't help the people that I got along well with and that I liked.
Right.
He goes, I got along really well with Pelle. And he said, we all told him that you got to drive slower. And Al said he stopped driving with him.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting, that part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to join our radio audience here after I call.
Get that out now.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll have a few more. All right. Here we go. That's right, and welcome to Philadelphia Flyers Hockey. It is Flyers Game Day, brought to you by Betway. There he is, Brian Smith, Jason Myrtetus, Flyers in Columbus to take on, dare I say, the lowly Blue Jackets. And Brian, here's where I want to start tonight, not with the actual game tonight. Something we mentioned the other day during the postgame show is that this game would be even better. Torts going back, which he doesn't seem to want to make much of a storyline of. Shocking. And it would have been great had Cam Atkinson been going back.
Yes.
Cam's not going to play, but he was on the ice for the morning skate today, and I think that's a great sign.
It was, and and again, we don't know exactly why. He might have just been going back to check on the house, make sure all the pipes are haven't burst or anything like that. But it's good to see him out there, and it really seemed like something at the start of the started training camp that was not going to be a big deal. We thought he was going to be out for a week or so, and certainly ready by the regular season. But whatever it is,
feedback from your other headset that you have.
Okay, whatever it is, it's just lingered. It's been it's taken way much longer than I think a lot of other people thought that it would to get him ready to go. So definitely good to see him back out there. Definitely a step forward, and hopefully it's going to lead to some more stuff here.
Yeah, the fact that he's on the ice, when we heard of that uncertainty now almost 2 weeks ago from Chuck Fletcher when he was giving the update on Sean Couturier, maybe things are trending in the right direction for Cam Atkinson. That would be fantastic news for a team. I mean, they're coming off a game where they scored 5 goals, but let's face it, they're not a team that's got an offensive juggernaut. But the opponent tonight, I think this is really kind of interesting tonight with Columbus. I mean, they have the worst points percentage in the NHL right now. The Flyers come into this game, Bri, 5th in the NHL. I mean, geez, I can't even believe I'm uttering this. 5th in the NHL in points percentage, only behind Winnipeg, Jersey, Boston, and Vegas. The team that's 32nd in the NHL with a .250 is this Columbus team, and it's not hard to figure out why. They're giving up more than 4.5 goals per game. They're only scoring 2.5 goals per game, and their power play with one of the greatest triggermen in the league in Patrick Laine and a great playmaker and player and creative player in Johnny Gaudreau is clicking at 6.1%. I mean, what is going on in Columbus here?
Well, they've had a very weird start to their season because, the first thing that happened to Columbus this year, I believe, was Laine got hurt in the opener, and he missed 2 weeks. And so they didn't have him there, and then he obviously had a few games to play coming back. But then they went out to Finland, and they played the Global Series against Colorado, 2 games out there, and they lost both of those. And it's pretty painful to go out to Finland and come back with no points. I mean, that is a heck of a jaunt. And now you're looking at this overall situation. Again, we just talked in the pregame show on the streaming about these guys being human. Patrick Laine is from Finland. He's going back to play in front of his home fans. And it just looked to me like this Columbus team was anticipating this in the days leading up to that trip. And they didn't play very well. And then they were off for 4 days, and then they went to Finland, and they lost twice. And now they've been off for 4 or 5 days before this game tonight. This is their first game since that trip. So yeah, they definitely have had a strange start to the season, but that really doesn't necessarily provide a reason why they're giving up as many goals as you said they were. That is, I can see why they may have trouble scoring goals because the line is out. So they're going to get it back together here, I think, eventually. They've got this game. They go to the island this weekend, and then they're home, I think, for a 6-game homestand. So 6 of their next 7 at home. They're going to settle out here. I just hope that the Flyers can get a couple of wins as they go back there next week, get a couple of wins against them before they figure it out.
Yeah, that's a good point. A couple of things. Before we get to the lines tonight, more good news. Carter Hart let him out for warm-ups. He obviously did not have the same illness. I did not give it to him.
Didn't have yours. Good job.
Or unless he's got one hell of an immune system and can bounce back quick. But getting him back tonight is obviously great news. He's off to a great start. But here's the lines from Columbus. We had somebody on the stream ask us for the lines. C-Mac said, hey, you guys got the lines? Any change? Well, here you go, C-Mac, and everybody else. Travis Konechny, or rather Kevin Hayes centering Konechny and Tippett. We like that line.
Yes.
The Flyers game day, the pregame show here, we like that line. Let's just put that on the record. Scott Lawton centering Joel Farabee and Wade Allison. Boy, Allison just moving up and up and up. How about Noah Cates centering Zach McEwen and Lucas Sedlak returning to Columbus as well. Then Frost centering Delarier and Lazinski. Your D pairs, Provorov and D'Angelo, Sanheim and Braun. Sealer going to play with Ristolainen. And yes, indeed, Carter Hart gets the start. I like the sound of that. Hart gets the start.
Yeah, it's great that that's not going to linger. Felix Sandstrom had a good run the other night. Flyers probably going to need him this weekend with the matinee back to back. But it's great to be at full strength and goal.
No question about it. Speaking of full strength, we've got full-strength boots on the ground in Columbus. The Cannon's there, but we've got Steve Coates. We've got Tim Saunders on site, and they're going to bring you the countdown to face-off. All the first-period action from Columbus. Flyers look to continue getting the points in the standings. Stay tuned. All that on the way after this. You've been listening to Flyers Game Day, brought to you by Betway on the Flyers Broadcast Network.